welcome back to A Face for Radio. If you've been following along, you know that we've been talking a lot about chemical exfoliation. Today, I want to talk about physical exfoliation. I know this usually gets a bad rep in the skincare world, but my friend Kash is here to talk about a new tool she tried out, the Dermaplaner. You may have heard this as a face razor or a couple other names that are really popular right now. Dermaplaning is often done in a dermatologist or other professional's office, but you can actually do it at home with this pretty inexpensive tool from Amazon, Sephora, a variety of other places. Kash tried it for the first time a couple weeks ago and is here to share her thoughts. Enjoy!
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
No problem.
Okay, so the way I've been starting this is just to ask each person to describe their skin tone and type.
Okay. Kind of on the oily side. Definitely have the, T-zone oil. Don't really get breakouts, except for most recently maskne, which is a thing.
Oh.
Yeah, I started breaking out like right around here, which is fine. So
what kind of mask are you wearing?
Like fabric reusable ones, which is probably why.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another thing with wearing masks is make sure you keep those clean if you're using reusable ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, typically my skincare routine is typically simple because there's not that much going on. A cleanser, a moisturizer, a toner, and that's kind of it.
Okay, so that's good.
And like exfoliation here and there.
Okay, so pretty simple.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you remember the very first beauty product or beauty routine you had?
Ooh, that's a good question. Definitely starting with like the teenage years, getting, some breakouts, being like, what's going on? Honestly, I probably went to CVS and like got something without telling my mom because I was like, oh my God, I have breakouts. I'm going to be ugly forever. And probably ended up like scrubbing my face with it and really drying it out. I remember having a lot of dry skin actually as a teenager because I wanted to like scrub my face all the time. And little did I know that that was not the way to go about it.
So how did you get from aggressive scrubbing to less is more?
Aggressive scrubbing. I think also just, puberty kind of petered out. Just have less breakouts in general. Reading up on it, learning from other people. Also, honestly, just, being able to afford good skincare in general. Just going to Sephora and like asking them for recommendations, asking my friends. You are like obviously instrumental in my learnings about skincare.
Why, thank you. Do you feel like it's more like your routine now is more maintenance than like actively there's an issue that you're trying to combat?
Yeah, definitely more maintenance.
Okay.
Yeah, also the past, several months, I haven't been wearing that much makeup. So there's typically just less to clean and less to worry about because there's less going on.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. So, you recently started trying dermaplaning, or like how long have you been doing that?
Yes. I just did it about a few days ago. It's Thursday, so it's been about 5 days.
That was your first time doing it?
Yes, first time doing it.
And you did it at home yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you discover this and why did you want to try it?
I heard about it a lot. It kept kind of popping up. I kept seeing it on Instagram or on blogs and things like that. And that term was just floating around a lot. I was curious about it, so I looked into it, and it turns out that it's very simple because there's literally just a razor involved. Um, yeah, there's nothing, chemical about it. You don't really need to make some kind of like 5-ingredient mask or like leave something on your face overnight or get any special kind of tools or equipment or anything like that. All you need are these little tiny Sephora.
Perfect. Wait, hold them up. Let me see what they look like. Okay. Okay, so mine are Revlon, but they look very similar.
Yep.
Ooh, Japanese steel blade. Wow.
Yeah, so they come in a pack of 3. They have this little like plastic protector on top. And they're light, they're really easy to use.
So what's the idea? Like, how do you do it?
Is literally just that you take the little razor, and you kind of hold it at an angle to your face. I think there's more than enough like YouTube tutorials out there showing you how to do this. But you basically just hold it at an angle to your face, and you go in kind of short strokes along your face, your entire face. Obviously, avoiding kind of your eye area, eyebrows, etc. And it's supposed to remove dead skin, dirt, anything like that. And then it also removes peach fuzz if that is something that bothers you. Personally, peach fuzz has never bothered me. But I do see a difference when I put on makeup. So that's kind of interesting.
So do you do it at all? Because I've heard some people use it as an exfoliating tool.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a motivation for you.
So yeah, so this was mainly just because I was curious about it, because it was a non-chemical exfoliation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so your idea was mainly like, okay, it's just gonna like clean my skin out a little bit.
Yeah.
And so did this replace like a mask you were doing, or it's just like an addition?
I mean, I don't know what it's gonna be like in the long term.
Yeah.
Typically, I'll do some kind of exfoliating thing once a week. I am approaching the week mark, so do I want to continue this? Do I want to just go with like a mask or something like that for this week? I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
But I am curious to see kind of what the long-term effects of it will be on my skin if I do keep continuing it. So for the sake of science, I will continue.
So did you do your whole entire face?
Yeah.
And how long does that take?
I think because it was the first time and I was kind of trying to get the hang of it, while not, cutting myself or anything like that. Maybe 30 minutes or so.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I kind of found it soothing though. I found it like satisfying to see all the scraping of the skin.
Yeah.
On the little blade itself. I was like, wow, like that, all of that is coming off right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some people find it very satisfying to like, see the little dots on their pore strip or tweeze hairs. Yeah, I found this actually very satisfying.
So, and then I thought you weren't supposed to do it on your nose area, or at least that's what my packaging said, but maybe I'm wrong. Did you use it around your nose?
None of the articles or videos that I saw said anything about the nose area in particular. It said be careful because it is like a huge bump on your face. And it's, harder to hold the skin taut and straight.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I did do the nose. What else? I had to be, pretty careful on kind of small, thin areas, like the side of your face right here, because it's close to your hairline, but it's also close to your eyebrows, and you don't want to shave any of those things off. Yeah, I think the forehead was pretty easy. Cheeks were pretty easy. I started, I think, right around here, and then moved inwards, and then did the chin, and then the other cheek, and then moved into forehead, and then left the nose for last because I had kind of command of this tool by then.
So you weren't doing this at all as a hair removal. This was just exfoliation for you.
Right. Just for
okay. Because I've definitely seen people who will use it like to shape their eyebrows a little bit or
Hmm, interesting.
something, which
I
I
ended up using my eyebrows afterwards. So I made this whole like a whole self-care Sunday, like not Sunday, I think it was like a Wednesday, but whatever. Yeah, I made it like a whole like self-care time for myself. So I did this, I did my eyebrows, I like gave myself a pedicure.
oh
So
wow.
like it was a whole package.
Yeah, that's nice. I gotta do that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting because I feel like I've heard like dermaplaning is the most common name, but then I've heard people just say, oh, like my face razor, which is like to me really is implying, right, that it's like a hair removal more than anything.
Interesting. So when I was looking for tools, I just went to Sephora. I straight up just searched Dermaplane in the search bar.
Oh,
And then like the first result I think that came up was these,
yeah.
the whatever these are called, level setter, set of 3 razors. I didn't really pay too much attention to these, what they were called. They had a semi-decent rating and they looked like all the other tools that the YouTubers were using. So I was
Hmm.
like, okay, this is legit. And then I got it and opened up the package and I saw then that it said razor. So
Mm.
oh, okay. So these are like razors as well. But yeah, my whole thing was just like, oh, okay, it's an exfoliation.
See, that's the thing. Like, I was so worried. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then it's gonna be like, like when when you shave your legs, and it comes back, it's like prickly, and I was like, well, I don't want that on my face.
Interesting. I
But
don't
I
find
haven't had that
it
experience.
at all. No.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit different, but I was worried at the beginning.
It's very like soft, fine hair to begin with.
Yeah,
So like yeah, I'm like going opposite now. No, you don't
interesting.
feel any prickle. It's very interesting though to feel your face afterwards.
Hmm.
Um, because it has never really felt that smooth except for when I get like a professional facial.
Oh, okay. So it's like more like that. That's how your skin feels.
Yeah. Afterwards, I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to touch my face, but I know I shouldn't.
So where in your routine, like, did you wash your face before this, or do you wash after? How does it work?
Yeah, so it depends like what kind of tutorial or instructions you want to follow. But what I did was cleanse first, and then do a toner. Some people also recommend an astringent like witch hazel, but I didn't have any.
Mm.
Um, and then do the actual dermaplaning, um, and then cleanse again and moisturize.
Oh wow. Okay, that's a
Yeah.
lot of
And also wash your hands.
yeah,
Very important.
yeah, especially these days.
Yes.
Okay, well, I didn't realize like you should cleanse, tone, do this, and then tone, cleanse again. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But I guess it makes sense because if you're scraping it, then you want to make sure you clean out the
Yeah.
leftover.
Just like get everything off, make sure it's actually off.
Yeah. Okay, so when you were like watching these videos, were there like specific people like did you say, okay, like she seems to have a similar skin type to me, or were you just looking purely at how people reacted to it, that they liked it overall? Like what made you think like, okay, I need to try this myself?
Um, I think in terms of the people that I actually followed, like their instructions, it just seemed like the people that were actually demonstrating how to do it on camera, um, like knew what they were doing, essentially. Um, and yeah, they just had the most thorough like instructions. I hate those YouTube videos where they're like, here's, my take on XYZ, and then they spend 75% of the video just talking about it and not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I don't know how to do it, so teach me, please.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Fascinating. Okay, so how often are you like gonna do this now?
I feel like for the sake of science, like I want to do it again. Maybe like once it reaches the week mark, and just
Okay.
see. I am really surprised almost by the makeup effect. Because again, for the sake of science, I put on makeup today. I did like a full face with like foundation and blush and contour and everything. And one thing I read was that your cream products apparently apply better. And that actually has been true for me. So I have a cream highlighter and a cream blush. I don't use them too often. They feel kind of heavy on my face. It's like 90 degrees outside. Don't really want to put those on right now. But I was curious about this claim, and it actually did go on a lot smoother and was like more blendable. I don't know what it is. I wonder if it's like the skin or if it's the presence of like peach fuzz. But whenever I've used a cream product, it just didn't blend very well. I don't know if cream just sits on the peach fuzz and like prevents it from blending. I have no idea.
Well, I guess there are a lot of things this is doing, right? So it's clearing out that peach fuzz. It's also clearing out kind of the top layer of your skin. So like the difference, I guess, between like a chemical exfoliant and this is that this is really focusing on the top layer of your skin. Right. So anything that's like uneven on top, whether it's tone wise or texture wise, this in theory should flatten it out. But I'm just surprised that 5 days later or 6 days or whatever, you're still like, that's still true. Like I would have thought, okay, like if you just did it and then you put on your makeup, like you would really notice it. But I'm surprised that many days later.
Yeah. So that was definitely really interesting. Yeah, so I'm kind of curious, like, if I continue to do this, like, when I do continue to wear makeup regularly, or, you know, try out other types of makeup, like, will it make a difference? Will it be different if I'm using, like, a powder blush or, like, a powder, you know, product? Also, if I do continue, like, will it change my skin almost permanently or semi-permanently? Yeah, I'm curious.
So I'm also curious, like, you haven't washed off that makeup, right? That you put on?
No. I mean, still made
So I'm curious when you wash it off, if it'll come off easier too, just because like your skin, in theory, has just been like cleaned out.
It's like a more smooth canvas, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That will be interesting.
Yeah.
So you said
right.
Yeah. We'll have to get like a post dermaplaning breakdown video.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that it kind of feels like after you get a facial from a professional.
Yes.
Do you think this is a replacement for that? Like, obviously in the near future, like I think personally, not to push my opinion on other people, but personally, facials are amazing, but is it worth the risk in the post-quarantine world? I personally think for a while, like I probably just won't do it because like it's not worth the risk. Do you think this is a good replacement? And when it is safe to get a facial, do you think that this would still be a replacement?
I don't know that it's a full replacement in the sense that like it's not the full experience, right? Like the whole theory of like any of these kind of, you know, spa and pampering kind of treatments is like there's an experiential part of it. Like I am doing, you know, my own nails and my own eyebrows and stuff right now, but it's like more of a treat to get it done. In terms of like actual skincare benefits, obviously a professional will know what they're doing to some extent, and they'll use products that are obviously meant to actually help your skin. Whereas me, I'm just DIYing because I'm curious about something. So is it a full replacement? No. For now, it's the closest thing I can get.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. I think, because I think for me, I'm like, obviously the like spa part of it, you can't replicate fully. But in terms of like actually the benefit to your skin, like personally, like I used to steam every single day at the gym.
Okay.
Sounds excessive, but I did. I would go in the steam room every day after my workout, and I would usually have a mask. And I didn't realize right away, but I've noticed through quarantine, my skin is just not as good as it normally is. And I'm like, oh, that's probably why, because it's used to being like steamed out every single day. And now I'm like, I just don't do that. So I do think it's like important to find those like fixes,
Right.
at
And
least for the
doing what
interim.
we can with what we have, with what can be shipped to us.
You mentioned you bought this tool at Sephora.
Yeah.
Did you shop around at all, or did you kind of just go with the Sephora option?
I was just putting in a Sephora order,
Okay.
um, and I was like, anything else I want to try? And then kind of dermaplaning came to mind.
So you mentioned that you'd been breaking out a little bit because of the mask.
Yes.
So did you have breakouts when you did the dermaplaning?
No, I did make sure that all of my breakouts had resolved themselves, because you really should not be dermaplaning if you have like active breakouts.
Interesting. So it's not even like you should avoid that area. You should just not do it.
Um, I'm pretty sure most of what I read said just don't do it, period. Like if you've got things going on with your skin, then just avoid it. I also just didn't want to risk, doing it around and potentially like irritating it. So
When I did dermaplaning, I think I've done it. I've never done like sat there and done my whole face. I was like,
okay.
oh, this is like almost like a spot treatment. So I was like, okay, I'll do like my chin area and then like around my nose. And
Mhm.
that like chin area, I was like, oh, this is good because like I feel like I get like some buildup here from like sweating and stuff. And I was
Mhm.
like, okay, it'll kind of exfoliate this.
Mhm.
And then on my nose, obviously, I feel like that's sometimes where I feel like the oil from sweat.
Yeah.
Um, and both times that I actually was like doing it, I
Mhm.
cut myself. So on my chin, I got like a cut here,
Oh.
and then like here, and then I like one time like right around my eyebrow because I was like doing a bit of my forehead. But
Mhm.
each time I get like a tiny cut, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm just like, I'm not doing this.
Interesting. So were you holding the tool like at an angle to your
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go like straight on. I just went like
yeah,
kind of.
interesting. I feel like it takes a few tries almost to get the angle right.
Mm,
Um, but I didn't end up cutting myself anywhere really. It also took a little bit of time for me to get used to the sensation of it. Like,
okay,
there's like
interesting.
scraping sensation,
Yeah.
right? And I thought it was weird at first, because I was like, oh, this is an interesting like feeling. I've never really felt anything like scrape against my face like this. Um, and also it kind of feels like a razor because it is a razor, but there's no like shaving cream or anything, right? So it's like just fully dried, it's scraping. Um, yeah, so I definitely was very careful like
Yeah.
at the beginning, um, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to cut myself. But I think once I got the hang of it, I was a little more confident. And then I saw the gunk being scraped off. And yeah, and then that weird, like, oh, this is so satisfying feeling set in.
So did you like periodically like wipe off the blade, or you just kept going with your whole face the whole time?
Yeah, I would just wipe it off on a tissue.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you feel like you had like light pressure? Like how hard were you pressing with the blade, right? Because even with the angle, you still have to kind of like push.
Yeah. I was holding like my face kind of taut with my other hand,
Hmm.
so that the surface was like kind of just tight. Um, just I guess like just enough so that I would feel that kind of scraping sensation, but not so hard that I would, be scared of cutting myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think also when you are holding it at kind of that like 45-degree angle, like you really can't like press very hard.
Mm. Yeah, see, I don't think I even realized when I cut myself. I just like when I saw blood, I was like, oh,
Oh, uh-oh.
excellent.
Great, 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 great.
Yeah.
You
No,
should
that's
try
interesting.
on a more like large kind of flat area, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, like the side of your cheek or something like that, or a forehead.
Yeah.
Like the chin, I was like, it was a little harder because it's like a curved part of your face
Yeah.
or your nose.
But yeah, I also just wonder, like, I did not do any of those steps. Like, I didn't even wash my face first, to be honest. So I didn't
Okay.
do that. I definitely didn't hold my skin. I was just kind of just like brushing it,
Uh,
basically. So
Got
I
it.
think I probably just did not do this correctly at all.
I think you need like a few more steps, a little bit more technique, and I think you can master it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think step one is like watch someone do it because I just basically was like, I'm just gonna read the back of this package and just be like, oh, okay, I can do this.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, no, I was not brave enough to do that. No,
Yeah,
I had to go on a whole like YouTube rabbit hole, um, and then like amp myself up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long had you been reading about this before you actually did it yourself?
I had seen it come across just like the various screens that I use. A couple of times I'd read about it. Um, I think probably in the past couple of months I have seen it a lot. And then I put in the Sephora order like what a month ago. And then it finally came, and then I waited for breakouts to resolve. So
Oh
yeah,
wow.
a while in the making.
Okay, so you really this was like very thought out experiment.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking up a lot of kind of DIY, like beauty, like home spa type things. There's like other stuff kind of in my pipeline.
Oh
Um,
really? On that note, do you have like your best skincare advice you've ever gotten?
Best skincare advice I've ever gotten. Um, Not in particular, like from a particular person, but in general, like now what I try to follow is just less is more in most situations for skincare, for makeup, just less is more.
That's a good piece of advice because now I think we're in such a trend of I need 6 serums and
Yeah.
3 moisturizers. I definitely have several layers of product, but I also have very dry skin and very
And
sensitive
that's
skin.
fair, and that's totally okay.
Yeah, so that's why I do that. But I think, especially like you mentioned, your skin is on the oilier side. So if someone is similar to you, the more products you're layering on, the more chance you're giving of clogging up your skin. So if you don't need those products, don't layer it.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I was really excited to have Kash here and share really an all encompassing view of her experience using the Dermaplaner. There are a couple things I want to call out because, she shared a lot of great wisdom, but I want to note that Kash does have really pretty great skin all the time, and so for her, a lot of skincare is about maintenance. So, scraping off the top layer of dead skin, dirt, whatever, is actually pretty perfect for her. If you do have more acne prone skin or you do need a deeper cleanse, then the enzyme or the chemical exfoliation is probably a little bit more important. Another thing is the fact that she noted that you do kind of need to have clear skin to use this. So, I always have at least a pimple somewhere. And so to me, I'm kind of hesitant to use this because I know that I'll probably never have like a fully clear face. And so I think that I probably won't use it in that way. I have seen a lot of people using it as a literal face razor. So, trimming off your eyebrows or, clearing up upper lip or chin. And I think those are also really valid uses. I think, like I mentioned, for someone who just really needs a little bit of maintenance and a little bit of top cleanser, who doesn't want to add chemicals to their routine because, they already feel like they have a good balance on their skin, then yeah, a physical exfoliation like this is worth a shot. I think for a lot of us who don't have good skin all of the time or do get some kind of imperfections, then may not be the ideal thing. So I would say try with a grain of salt and, remember that there are different uses for this tool. You don't need to do it the same way that everyone else is. And just remember, anything you put on your face is more than just skin deep. Bye. See you next time.